The prevailing winds and the westerly winds are on us now, and the temperatures and the bite are heating up, and the biological clock is ticking. And although it might get redirected now and then, there's no stopping it. It's still pre-spawn, moving to the spawn, and it's game on. We're approaching a period where pretty much every bait works. You'll still see that some baits work better than others, but anglers at all skill levels can enjoy some of the easiest bass fishing of the year. Now, that wasn't the reality when I went to visit the northern bays last Monday. I was hoping for some warming, but the water temp was 52 degrees. The water clarity was good, but I saw no fish, no beds, and it was only 3 feet deep at the deepest point of one of the back bays. Well, the next step in the search was to check the transition spots. I came up empty there too. This may have changed by now, but there doesn't appear to be a dramatic warm up in the near future. The St. Clair River temp was 48 degrees, and you could see plenty of minnows schooled up at seawall corners and transition points. Our friend Dan Kimmel from Great Lakes Bass and Facebook is back with a Lake St. Clair report from Thursday. Dan focused on the mile roads and a little farther south of that. Dan scored with this 4-pound class smallie mixed in with the other bass that he was catching. Now we talked and we both agreed that the water clarity since last week has done a complete 180. It was clear to 8 feet deep along the mile roads. Dan and I were also surprised that the bite was uncharacteristically slow. We chalked it up probably to water temp, which was around 54 degrees, but possibly the abrupt change in water clarity may have had something to do with it. I connected with smallies in 8 feet of water at Memorial Park, and as I was going down Detroit River, I saw and caught smallies in 5 feet of water or less. One move I made with clear water was to back off the crankbaits and blade baits. My best production came from 4-inch Canadian Mist Ghost tube and swim bait in the same color. By the way, the Belle Isle water temp is up 1 degree. That's up to 52 degrees now. So how can you be sure the bite is just slow that day? Well, one way to do it is to count the bass caught per rod hour around you. At our first spot, there were at least 10 boats. We caught or saw 3 bass caught in the half hour that we were there. Now, take the 10 boats with 2 occupants each, that makes 20 rods. Take the 3 bass caught in a half hour and double it to make 6 for 1 hour. And you have 6 bass caught on 20 rods for the area. Now, it's possible that as an individual, you might fish this area for 10 hours and only catch 3 bass. We know it doesn't always work that way, but this is not a strong bite. Well, what kind of weather do we have coming up? Southwest winds on Saturday are a little high, but favorable for the U.S. shoreline. Possible thunderstorms in the afternoon are a real threat on the big water, so be careful. There will be a wind shift overnight, which should knock the winds down, and north-north winds on Sunday seem reasonable. So when will the bite pick up? Well, when it comes to gauging the bite, I prefer to rely on trends instead of single data points. Right now, we know that a better bite and the spawn is ahead as everything warms up. This was the weather trend last week using land-based temperatures. These are the high temps from Sunday through Friday for the week of April 26. That averages out to 57 degrees. Here are the high temps this week. We get a little bump in the average temperature to around 61 degrees. Here are the forecast temps for the week of May 10. The warming trend continues and we average out at nearly 64 degrees. However, Nighttime temperatures exert more influence on a shallow body of water like Lake St. Clair than daytime temperatures. Here are the low temps over the same period. As you can see, there is virtually no significant change in these seasonably cold lows. There is hope, however. Smallmouth prefer stability, and they may respond favorably to the overall mild trend in the right direction. One last thing I'd like to add as an angler is to look for indicators that are favorable to smallies. At Memorial Park and at Windmill Point, I found some new growth cabbage, otherwise known as curly leaf pondweed. Another good indicator is when the bulrushes green up. As you can see, they were completely brown yet in the north part of the lake. Now, even though every season is different, spawning activity is used as the gold standard for understanding where we are in the season every year. We expect the northern bays at this point to be 100% active, and they're not. Based on that and a few other places, we would say that the season is a week behind, maybe even 2 weeks behind. One hot week will catch everything up. Thank you for visiting the St. Clair Bass Fishing Report this week. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, hit the like button and subscribe. Well, the bite is picking up. Have a blessed weekend.